So today we're going to test out the new Apple AirPods, the second generation Pro versus the first generation, for noise cancellation and for mic stuff. I'm doing it in the car because cars are one of the best places to do this sort of stuff because they're almost sound insulated a little bit. So let's get started. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to use this little sleep machine noisemaker, and I'm also going to turn on the sound detection on my Apple Watch. So right now, okay, so let's do this. Let's start with a benchmark here. 34 decibels with nothing. So let's do 10 clicks on here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. It's about 42 decibels, so about 10 more. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. About 58 decibels. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. About 70. So 44, 58, and 70 are sort of where this thing goes. So that's the sort of 3 levels. Let's go ahead and do AirPods number 1. Okay, here we go. This is first 10. Yep, around 41 decibels. I can just start to hear it now. 54 decibels. Definitely hear it now, 69 decibels. So this is the first AirPods. Let's take those out. Okay, got the second set of AirPods in now. Now this is where it's saying noise levels reduced by AirPods on the watch. So I can't actually get a good reading, but I can count the number of clicks like we've been doing. So here we go, first 10 clicks. Now it's saying on here 24 decibels noise reduced by AirPods, but that's the first 10. I can feel it, I can't really hear it. Let's go to the second 10. I can hear it, but it's definitely quieter than the other set of AirPods. Like I more feel it than hear it, but I can tell there's a white noise there. Let's take it to the third set of 10. Yep. Now this is saying on here, noise level 47, 48 decibels. So it's at 70. So that's a pretty big reduction by this. So when it's at max going here, this is about 70 decibels when this guy's cranked up. And on here, it's saying 46, 47. So it's chopping about 25 decibels off, which is pretty impressive. That's up there with actual hearing protection, right? Your average hearing protection noise reduction level is between 20 and 30 decibels, depending on how it goes. So that's pretty impressive. For calibration, let's go ahead and do the Bose QC earbuds now. Now I've switched over to the Bose QC earbuds, the first generation ones. So let's see how we're doing here. Okay, here we go. So 45. Hear it now. 55. About 70. I heard around 55 on that one. So this is sort of the third way in. All right. Okay, next what we're going to do is we're going to try testing this the microphones against some wind. What I've done is I've set up a leaf blower on my grill here. I'm just going to stand roughly here to start. Line it up with this longer pole and see how it sounds. It's going to be both the wind and the noise. Okay, next up, we have the Generation 1 AirPods. Let's see how these sound. It's also got some nice cross breeze here, but we'll see how this sounds with the Gen 1 AirPods. A lot of wind. Okay, now we have the Generation 2 AirPods. Let's see how these sound. So that was the test to see how each of these three microphones sound in really adverse conditions. So you probably wouldn't be standing in front of a leaf blower, but if you had to be, let's see how they sound. All right, well, there you have it. That was the noise cancellation test inside the vehicle and then the microphone test. In terms of my thoughts, these are pretty impressive. These are pretty impressive. The noise cancellation was good. I felt like they were definitely better than the Gen 1s in terms of the noise cancellation. I could pick up and detect the noise right around 55, 60 decibels, but it was definitely more muted with the Generation 2s versus the Generation 1s for the same amount of noise. So it was detectable, but it was less, but it was still there. And the Bose, around the same level as well. The microphones is where these things stand out. The Gen 1 microphone is okay, right? It's decent. The Bose QC earbuds microphone is just awful. You sound like you're in a tin can all the time. The microphone sounds good. If you listen carefully, just between the Gen 1 and Gen 2, is a big difference in the microphone. The quality, to the point where if I was out and about and I was going to shoot some video, impromptu, right? I hadn't planned to shoot or anything like that. The mic on these is good, right? It's not as good as the wireless lavalier that I'm using, the Rode lavalier, but for out and about, this is good enough. This is good enough to make good quality audio that you would be happy to have in your YouTube videos or wherever else it is you use video. The other thing I think is really impressive about these is the noise cancellation, having the meter on the Apple Watch that tells you how much it's cutting the noise by, 20 to 25 decibels. That is at the level of actual hearing protection, right? When you start cutting 20 to 25 decibels, you're at a point where, real hearing protection that, your earmuffs or earplugs cuts that noise down. So if you are, again, on the road at an event, at a concert or something, and it suddenly gets really loud, pull these guys out and put them in your ears, and you will reduce the amount of noise and potentially take dangerous noise levels back down to safe noise levels. That's pretty cool, right? So combination of hearing protection, good microphone, and good noise cancellation. Is it as good as Apple says? Is it double the previous versions? Not really. I would expect double to be, because decibels are logarithmic, I would expect double to be, 5 or 6 decibels greater in terms of the ability to cut. And they cut around the same amount, but they cut it differently. So I can detect it, but it's less loud at the same decibel levels. If I had to pick one of the three as my everyday, this would be it. This is it now, because we paid for these. That they're better than the Bose QC edition ones. Now, I have not tested any of the Bose QC Earbuds Generation 2s. They just came out, and having heard this now, it's a tough sell. It is a tough sell because they're more expensive, at $50 more expensive than these. They don't do everything the Apple's devices do, you know, the instant pairing and stuff like that. And the noise cancellation on these is really good. Like it's better than the Gen 1s for the Bose side of things, and it's good enough that I would be happy just with this on an airplane. Right? I wouldn't need to use the other ones, which do better on an airplane than the Gen 1s do. But this is pretty good. So in terms of which one, if I had to just pick one, this is it, the Gen 2 AirPods Pro. Apple did an amazing job with these. And while it might not live up to marketing's claims, it certainly lives up to my expectations about what a second generation product should be able to do. And yeah, I like it. I like it a whole bunch. So that's the show. I would love to hear your experiences if you're testing out this gear too, if you've got a better way of doing some of these tests. Certainly the leaf blower test. I mean, that was just ridiculous, right? No microphone is going to do well in that environment where we're pumping 650 cubic feet of air per second at these microphones. But I will say, having reviewed the footage, it is most intelligible with these. It's still not intelligible, right? It's, you know, it's like standing inside of a tornado. It's still not intelligible. But the other two sets, the version 1s and the Bose QCs, you couldn't hear anything. It was just pure noise. These, you could make out some of my voice. And that, again, pretty impressive for a ridiculous test condition. So that's the show. Like to hear your thoughts. Leave them in the comments. Thanks for tuning in. I'll talk to you soon. If you like this video, go ahead and hit that subscribe button.